Do you own a home or have plans to in the future? Don't miss the Dino and Nelson Show, Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. on Money Radio, KTLK AM 1150. You'll get all the information you need to know about what's happening in the local real estate market and how to take advantage of that knowledge. How to approach home ownership or mortgage financing with design, vision, and focus, as well as accurate information. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, listen to Real Estate Radio with Dino and Nelson Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. right here on Money Radio, KTLK, AM 1150.
Good afternoon, Southern California. This is Dino from the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk, AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335. 888-814-3335. This next segment brought to you by Efficient Escrow Services, hot off the net. Nelson, what do you got for us this week? Any stupid, crazy stories like you usually have?
Earth-shattering stories. Listen to this. Here's where you know that the recession has really bared its teeth. Ellen DeGeneres has to downsize into an 8,500 square foot home. Only 4 bedrooms, 6 baths, but less than an acre. How's she gonna manage that?
I don't know. I remember when I did that, I suffered greatly because I ran out of space. I didn't know what to do with anything anymore. When you downsize from...
Oh, you're serious?
Oh, I'm totally serious.
All right.
Yeah. I'm telling you, moving from a 2,000 square foot house down to a 800 square foot studio was unbelievable. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. You have the extra things. Well, I'm certain Ellen is worried about this, but actually the compound that she is selling is to one of our fellow broadcasters. Ryan Seacrest is buying her home, and so I think it's a huge property. It's.
Do you know how big her last place was?
I know that it is a little over 11,000 square feet, and but it had 4 different structures on the property and tennis courts, and it's in that compound category, up on the hill overlooking the valleys and the city. So it's quite a property.
So I guess I wonder why she's downsizing. Is she making less money? I mean, we all know Ryan Seacrest is making a ton of money. But what's a single dude doing in an 11,000 square foot house?
We'll find out, huh?
All right.
Yeah. All right. So, and then we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The mega mansion in Newport Beach, the Vista del Lago site, actually sold, went to auction. It was, again, that high point value of $87 million, sold at auction for $18.5 million. Japanese buyer, a tycoon that owns, I think he publishes actually a newspaper here in the U.S., but he bought the mansion for $18.5 million, thinks he needs to do about $3 million worth of construction completion and renovation work. So he'll be into it for $21.5 million, but an unbelievable site.
You know, I wonder later with our guest at Kaminsky, we can probably ask him because I know he's involved in the whole auction pit. I'd love to really know what the true cost is to bring it up. I know he thinks $3 million, but a property that size, the slightest little thing that was left undone can end up costing you a ton of money.
And the property sat vacant for a long period of time, which, as we all know, does damage to the property that has to be corrected.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, well, let's get into the core of what we're going to talk about. This week's show is going to be focusing on the credit side of things and credit scores and raising credit scores and the importance of credit scores. And as I was doing some research on this, a couple things just leapt out at me. Number one, credit card companies that are issuing credit cards, we have stories of some of the people that have received cards, including the deceased, including children, and I think our guest will be able to share a story with us about that, and pets. There has been credit cards issued to pets.
Yeah.
By mistake, but nonetheless.
Is that all still going on? I know a few years back it was pretty easy to get a credit card or even, heck, a loan for anybody, but is that still doable?
The stories are out there. I don't know. We'll have to ask on pet credit scores, and then I went into looking at some of the crazy things that have been purchased, and there was just 3 quick things that popped up. One was the Russian billionaire that bought his way into the NBA. He had a single credit card charge $47,000 for a lunch bill, only to be outdone with the Boston Bruins that had a night out on town for $157,000, a little bit of an Amex charge. And then LeBron has to show everybody up on a Vegas trip, $171,000 restaurant bill.
Yeah, that would probably include the strip club.
I don't know that. And you obviously want to talk to LeBron. His people will be calling you. Thanks for that. All right, and then just to, quickly before we get into our special guest this afternoon, I wanted to touch on rates from First Centennial Mortgage. We saw 15-year fixed rates that are still down at these lows that are in that who would have thunk category. 15-year fixed rates that are at or below 3%. 30-year mortgages are settling in towards the mid 3% range. And then really what caught my eye, and we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, but the jumbo money that's up to $2 or $2.5 million, 30-year fixed rates in the low fours. I mean, I just think it's phenomenal.
It's ridiculously stupid, cheap money. And that's why whoever's not out buying a house or refinancing right now is just not intelligent enough. I hate hearing those people say, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm still on the fence. I think the prices are going to drop or whatever's going to happen. First of all, prices aren't dropping. Prices are going up. Second of all, interest rates this low just aren't going to go any lower. This is it.
So we'll just have this as a mortgage category, the ridiculously stupid mortgage rate.
Cheap money.
Yeah, cheap money.
I just locked somebody in yesterday, 3.75%, no cost. I mean, that's ridiculously stupid, cheap money.
There you go.
In case you just jumped in your car, this is the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. Every Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m., we can be reached at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335 or at the DinoandNelsonShow.com. We'll be right back.
You want to invest in today's real estate market and take advantage of the low values, but the property needs work. What do? Polaris Equity Group provides an answer with its market-exclusive 100% rehab program. The Polaris loan covers the purchase price, down payment, rehab budget, 6 months of interest, and lender's costs, all in exchange for a profit split between you and us. Call Polaris Equity Group to hear more about it. 949-727-4333. That's 949-727-4333. Take advantage of their exclusive 100% rehab program. 949-727-4333 or find us online at polarisequitygroup.com.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and I want to talk to you about our expertise outside the studio. Combined, Dino and I bring 45 years of mortgage experience to First Centennial Mortgage. We've successfully advised our clients through the most challenging economic and mortgage times. The recession of the late 80s, the housing crisis of the early 90s, the equity lending exuberance of the early 2000s, and now the mortgage meltdown and loss of home values since 2008. Bottom line, professional and experienced loan advisors to help you protect your home and real estate investments. This week has brought new attention to high balance loans, jumbo fixed rates up to $2 million with 30-year rates below 4.25%, 15-year rates below 3.75%, and if you can believe it, 5-year fixed rates in the high 2s. Let's face it, fixed interest rates in the high 2s for loan amounts up to $2 million. Call Dino and Nelson, expert loan advisors, direct at 888-814-3335. Ask about their jumbo fixed rates in the high 2s up to $2 million. That's Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335. 888-814-3335 or the DinoandNelsonShow.com.
All rates referred can change without notice. First Centennial Mortgage licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 132763.
We have reviewed your application for credit, and at this time, we are unable to approve you. The dreaded credit denial letter. You've had strong credit, but life got in the way and companies are turning you down. The Dino and Nelson Show has a solution with Saving My Credit. Saving My Credit offers highly skilled specialists and a research methodology that is consistently applied to improving your financial situation. Nagging collection accounts, late pays, tax liens, bankruptcies, charge-offs are some of the many examples of negative reporting that leads to credit denial. Saving My Credit applies rigorous energy, experience, and resourcefulness to raise your credit score. Your credit is approved. It would feel so much better, wouldn't it? Contact Saving My Credit at 714-699-4680 or savingmycredit.com. That's 714-699-4680, 714-699-4680, or online at savingmycredit.com.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and finally, a reputable legal firm. CDA Law Center, a nationally recognized nonprofit homeowner advocate, one of the most trusted firms in the country for helping consumers with their loan modification process. CDA's attorneys have decades of combined experience guiding their clients through the very complex and choppy waters of loan modification. Call 877-499-4435. 877-499-4435. Finally, honest and ethical advice to gain real results. Call CDA Law Center at 877-499-4435 or online at cdalawcenter.com.
Welcome back to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk, AM 1150, every Sunday from 1 to 2 o'clock. We can be reached at 888-814-3335, 888-814-3335, or at the Dino and Nelson Show. Today we got credit repair expert Mr. John Allen here with us from Saving My Credit. He is the president and CEO of Saving My Credit, and he's also a personal friend of mine and a guy that has helped me with my clients for many years now. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
So in the mortgage industry, we have clients that sometimes are just slightly below where they need to be in order to get the better interest rate or even qualify for a loan.
Sure.
And therefore, working on their credit is a big part of our job all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's times when, it's just a few points, and as a loan originator, I know what to do. I can do that pretty easily. But there's times when somebody's 20, 30 points below where they need to be, and that's when I call the experts.
That's
John Allen.
Yeah.
Well, think of the damage that's been done out there with this recession, where everybody had, or a majority of people had, strong credit. They recognize the benefits of that. Recession hits, people lose their jobs, credit gets run up in order to trying to cash flow their budgets, and then their credit world implodes. Mm-hmm. And then you step in now on the heels of that and restore strong credit, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people have a misconception that really it takes forever. It's going to take 7 years before their credit can get back to normal. I mean, people have heard the horror stories about different kinds of companies not working or not doing good things for them. And so with that said, there is a lot of bright light out there that people are just not aware of.
And I think that's one of the things is I prepared for this show and was doing some research on your business and whatnot. And there are so many misnomers, so many myths out there on what can be done or if anything can be done. I just wanted to shotgun a couple of these at you and get your reaction.
Sure.
Myth number one, closing a card after paying off a massive debt load is going to improve your scores. Does closing your credit accounts improve your scores or no?
On the majority, I would say majority of the time it probably would hurt you. You don't want to close cards. Most of the time people have a limited amount of credit already, and so closing cards is just a way of limiting your access to getting credit history. You want to have those cards active. You might want to be bringing down those balances, though. That's definitely going to be helping you out. The ideal balance, per se, if there was an ideal balance, would be anywhere between 20 to 30% of the limit of that credit card. So let's just say, for example's sake, you had a $1,000 credit card. You kind of never want to bring it above $200, $300. You want to keep it in that range. And that's going to really help you. People think about – I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so basically every time you go over that 20, 30%, let's just call it 30. So if you owe more than $300 on a $1,000 credit limit, then pretty much every dollar amount you're over that, your credit scores are going to start dropping, correct?
Well, close. I mean, it goes pretty much in percentages. You're going to go up to a 50% mark, and you think, okay, well, 50%. I'm at 50%. I should be pretty good, right? Well, it's okay. Anything above 50% really starts hurting you. A lot of people get a misconception that they say, well, John, what if I use a credit card at $1,000? I have a $1,000 credit card. And what if I use it at $1,000? And but I'm going to pay it off the next day. I'm going to pay it to zero. Is that going to help my credit? Most people think, use it and pay it down. Use it and pay it off. Use it and pay it off. That's going to help my credit, right, John? Well, what ends up happening is this. The credit bureaus are actually recording for 1 month to 45 days, sometimes up to 90 days, what you used at the highest point of that money cycle on what you use on that credit card. So let's just say you used a certain amount. Let's say you used $1,000 on that $1,000 credit card. And then paid it off the next minute. It's not necessarily going to record that it's at a zero balance on your credit report.
And this is a thing that as Dino and I know, that credit scoring is as close to our industry as ever become of genetic decoding. It's impossible, or not for you, but
Right.
certainly for us to know these nuances on what impacts credit. This is one of the reasons I'm so excited about this show, just to bust through some of these myths. Another one that came out is your employment history impacts your score. Fact or fiction?
I think it's more fiction. I think, those kind of things are going to be affecting more what the lender is going to be looking at. Oh, have you had a job for 2 years? Are you jumping from employer to employer? It's probably going to affect their opinion that way.
But
more,
not impacting your score.
But not in the score arena.
Okay, try this on. Myth number 3, financing a big purchase, like buying a home or buying a car, and it's going to lower your credit scores now that you have this huge amount of debt that comes on.
Well, sometimes it does actually initially lower it just for a little bit because it's a new inquiry, it's a new account coming on. Sometimes the debt load on it is quite large, especially if it's a mortgage or something like that. So it's a very temporary low, and then it actually becomes a very positive account for you, as long as you're making your payments, of course.
In case you just jumped in your car, we're speaking with John Allen from Saving My Credit. And if you'd like more information on how to repair your credit, text the word credit to 313131. That's text the word credit to 313131. You're listening to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335 or at the DinoandNelsonShow.com. All right, so although I have enough testimonials for John Allen myself, I want to go to the phones and actually get some direct response from people he's helped recently. So we're going to the phones with Wendy. Wendy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Hi, this is Dino from the Dino and Nelson Show. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. We got your, I think your favorite person here, John Allen from Saving My Credit.
Oh, my God, that's John Allen. I love him to death. I mean, he gave me my life back. Your credit is your life. And I have a testimony, like I said, I called John up, and he got right on it. And what happened is he ran my credit, and next thing I know, in 45 days, I had a new me. Everything was gone off, and I've just been telling people and passing out my business cards and just sending him more referrals because it's well worth it. It is. It's well worth it. You get your life back. I know that much.
So Wendy, it only took 45 days?
Less than 45 days, actually. I turned my friend on to John Allen, and what happened was I was right there when child support gave him a phone call. Now, child support. And they said everything was inaccurate. They were taking it off, and next thing you know, child support delinquents is off his credit report. I've seen it with my own eyes.
So, Wendy, this is Nelson. How are you? Thanks for coming on the air.
Hi, Nelson. How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask you, is the before and after, you started where with your credit, and then where did it actually end up at?
My credit was so low, I think I was like in the low 5. Once John finished my credit score, I think I ended up like with I had a few little positive things, but there was so many negatives on it, so I really cleaned it up, and it brought me back up to like I think I was at a 6. I want to say a 647, my middle.
So over 100 points improvement in your credit score.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, once he got all that off and all my positive shows where you could just see my positive, once he got all that negative off, it gave me my life back. I'm here to tell you, it's well worth it.
That's fantastic, Wendy. We want to thank you so much for jumping on the phone with us here on the radio.
Thanks for calling, Wendy.
All right, you're no problem. No problem. You guys have a wonderful day.
All right, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
That was a great call from Wendy. I'm pretty impressed. 100-point increase. Now, Is that typical for most of your clients, or is it more of a 30, 40, 50-point increase?
I see it a lot. However, the average score increase for our client is anywhere from 30 to 70, probably about 30 to 80 points now. It's starting to get better and better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in mortgage terms, when we see an increase like that, that can translate directly. Just for our listeners to get some idea of the impact of this, it can mean as much as maybe a quarter, 0.3% difference in interest rate. So it's high impact.
Oh, huge! It means so much to the client. It means so much to the lender to make this job a lot easier for
and
them.
not having to expend a lot of time to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and not only is it the difference of a quarter point, but actually just recently, probably about 5 months ago, I had a client try to pre-qual them. They could not qualify. They were literally maybe 5 points short of the minimum score required. I referred them over to John. They worked on their credit. I think it took just about 30 days.
Yep.
We reran their credit. Next thing you know, they're buying a house. So it wasn't even a quarter point. It was the difference of a house or no house.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about this, John. Myth number 4, and this is speaking to Dino. The older you are, the higher your credit scores are.
How can you talk about me when you talk about older? You're
Well, I
the
don't
old
know.
man.
I mean,
in the
I know
group.
you just haven't aged as well.
My goodness.
I would say no.
Why do you have wrinkles by your ear?
I wish that was
what
the
they call a
case.
facelift?
I don't know. I mean, probably the same reason you have hair growing out of ears. So it's the so the age has no impact.
No.
Okay, so it's
I
just
mean, in some regards, I mean,
in the context of maybe establishing more credit, but-
right, or having a longer period of established credit. I can see that being a contributor.
And here's one that's a huge question that comes up in the mortgage sector frequently. Myth number 5: checking my score will lower my score.
Well, there's two kinds of checking your score. There's a hard inquiry and then there's a soft inquiry. So going online, doing the freecreditreport.com, that's not going to affect your scores whatsoever. And
is it true that if you're just going through your due diligence, let's say you're looking at purchasing a new home or financing a new home, and you want to check with 3 or 4 different banks,
sure,
and you have your credit run by Bank of America and Wells Fargo and First Centennial Mortgage, does that chip away at your credit score with somebody just going through their due diligence?
It can. I mean, the first initial score, usually what I've been hearing is this, and I get this information usually from the main people. So what I'm hearing is that your first, if you're doing a credit pool with a mortgage industry, somebody in the mortgage industry, a lender or so forth, and then then you have about 15 days or so before it starts to really impact you again. So you can run credit for a little while. Try not to go crazy.
I heard for the first 30 days that to not prevent you from shopping, you're allowed to go out and use as many mortgage companies as you want.
Yes, it's about 15 to 30 days.
Okay.
I'd like to keep it at the 15 marker is what I'm hearing, but it ranges up to about 30 days.
And see, this is important information for me because you're very precise on percentages of credit, the time periods, different ways to build credit. That's the kind of information I think is going to be high impact for our listeners.
Yeah, for sure. You're listening to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335 or at thedinoandnelsonshow.com. Or if you'd like more information on credit repair, text the word credit to 313131. Text the word credit to 313131. We'll be back in just a moment with more credit repair insight.
In a chaotic real estate market, you want peace of mind when it comes to the home you're purchasing. Roadrunner Exterminating, a family-owned and operated company providing structural repairs, local treatments, and fumigation. Roadrunner Exterminating is a licensed, bonded, and insured expert in termite, pest control, and general contracting. For fast and efficient service, plus the peace of mind of knowing the condition of your new home, call Roadrunner Exterminating at 866-398-BUGS. That's 866-398-BUGS. Or on the web at roadrunnerexterminating.com. As always, mention the Dino and Nelson Show and get a free home inspection. 866-398-BUGS or roadrunnerexterminating.com. General Contractor License 922404. Nominal fee for escrow inspections.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and I want to tell you about one of our show partners, Efficient Services Escrow. As the name implies, Efficient Services Escrow provides lenders, realtors, home buyers, and sellers with fast, efficient, but most importantly, worry-free specialty escrow services. Dino and I know firsthand that real estate transactions can be complex and layered with areas of exposure for details to be handled incorrectly. The number one reason we work with Efficient Services Escrow is their seasoned veterans are reliable, proactive, and best of all, provide us worry-free escrow services. With any real estate sale, purchase, or refinance, call our trusted friends at Efficient Services Escrow, 949-208-9600. That's 949-208-9600, and let them know that Dino and Nelson sent you. Efficient Services Escrow at 949-208-9600 or online at efficientescrow.com.
What do you do when your bank simply says no to your real estate purchase? Polaris Equity Group provides an answer. Yes. Our flexible purchase and bridge loan programs are the direct result of our involvement in more than 3,000 transactions of varying size and complexity. Since 1991, Polaris has completed over $500 million in real estate investment transactions using both debt and equity solutions. When the bank says no, call Polaris Equity Group to hear yes. 949-727-4333. That's 949-727-4333. Logical decisions to execute a timely close. 949-727-4333. Or find us online at polarisequitygroup.com.
We've reviewed your application for credit at this time, and we're unable to approve you. The dreaded credit denial. You had strong credit, but life got in the way and companies are turning you down. The Dino and Nelson Show has a solution with Saving My Credit. Saving My Credit offers highly skilled specialists and a research methodology that is consistently applied to improve your financial situation. Nagging collection accounts, late pays, tax liens, bankruptcies, charge-offs are some of the many examples of negative reporting that leads to credit denial. Saving My Credit applies rigorous energy, experience, and resourcefulness to raising your credit score. How about this instead? Your credit is approved. It sounds so much better. Contact Saving My Credit at 714-699-4680 or savingmycredit.com. That's 714-699-4680. 714-699-4680 or online at savingmycredit.com. This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and I want to talk to you about our expertise outside the studio. Combined, Dino and I bring 45 years of mortgage experience to First Centennial Mortgage. We've successfully advised our clients through the most challenging economic and mortgage times. The recession of the late 80s, the housing crisis of the early 90s, the equity lending exuberance of the early 2000s, and now the mortgage meltdown and loss of home values since 2008. Bottom line, professional and experienced loan advisors to help you protect your home and real estate investments. This week has brought new attention to high balance loans, jumbo fixed rates up to $2 million with 30-year rates below 4.25%, 15-year rates below 3.75%, and if you can believe it, 5-year fixed rates in the high 2s. Let's face it, fixed interest rates in the high 2s for loan amounts up to $2 million. Call Dino and Nelson, expert loan advisors, direct at 888-814-3335. Ask about their jumbo fixed rates in the high 2s up to $2 million. That's Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335. 888-814-3335 or the DinoandNelsonShow.com.
All rates referred can change without notice. First Centennial Mortgage licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 132763.
The Dino and Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Dino and Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Welcome back to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335. 888-814-3335. And once again, we're speaking to John Allen from Saving My Credit. If you'd like more information on credit repair, text the word credit to 313131.
So with credit repair, there's no shortage of companies that are out there that are professing to be able to raise your scores. And like so many different organizations, there's a lot of scams, a lot of people that just don't get any net results. So somebody calls you with bad credit. What are some of the recommendations that you have, that substantive things that people can do in order to raise their scores?
Well, the first thing is just like anything, you know, when you bring a car to a mechanic, he needs to look at the car. He needs to be able to analyze and see what the situations are really happening on the car. And in the same regards, I really, every single person is totally different. So what I want to be able to do is look at everybody's credit report, have a great idea what's going on, and then from there I'm going to give them very specific results based on what I'm seeing. Some people don't have any credit scores because they don't have any credit. They don't know how to get credit with bad credit. So we advise them on where to go get credit when you have bad credit, how to do that, where to go, what should you do next, how to get it. You know, people are so lost sometimes in this situation. So well, that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is helping them delete negative issues that have appeared on their credit and going through that portion with them as well.
How hard is that? I mean, there's obviously many examples of what would be poor credit ratings, the tax liens or the bankruptcies or the late pays or the charge-offs. Can they all be treated, or is it?
Everything can be treated. Everything on credit has an opportunity to come off if it's negative. And the reason why is it's really the way you contest it is to ask them to prove their case, and you hold them to the laws that they should be held to have that issue on the bureaus and on the credit reports.
So when you're saying hold them accountable to the law, that's the actual creditor.
The creditor, correct.
But that also now alludes to one thing that we've always known for years, that everybody says, just write a letter stating that this does not belong to me. I was in late. And please remove it within 30 days. And then if they don't respond, then they remove it. If they do respond, you write the same letter and you keep going over and over again, which is why so many, I believe, credit repair companies have been frauds in a sense, because all they do is write a letter and send it every 30 days, hoping that it comes off.
Well, that's one way of doing it. I mean, that is a way of doing a dispute. You can do disputes online. You could do all kinds of different things, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you get stuck. So, honestly, the best way, I mean, we have a way of connecting to the bureaus. We have a direct line to them in regards. So we do everything electronically. We put different kinds of codes. We put different kinds of laws into play. And so that's really where we're getting our biggest benefits, and it's all electronic. So you don't have the odd conversations with, or the odd situations where you send a letter in and it never gets to anybody, or it doesn't have the right code on it, or it doesn't have the right, reference number on there, and then it gets bounced out, or somebody has a bad day at the bureaus and they drop it in the trash, and then all of a sudden you never got a response. Nobody saw the letter, and it just ends up being, an issue.
I remember when I first met you, though, one of the things that you told me is the difference between you versus somebody that just writes a letter is that you guys, in essence, do the same thing, but you write the letter in code. Because the bureaus work in code. Yeah, right?
It's not a letter, actually. We do an electronic dispute, so that's why it's super fast. What we do is, let's just say 95% of the credit repair companies, probably even more than that, will probably be sending out letters. They're doing a mass campaign. That's why they're charging these nickels and dimes, and they don't really know what they're doing. They're just sending out mass campaigns of letters. It's a ugly, elongated process that really almost doesn't work.
It sounds antiquated, too.
Oh, it's absolutely. And they're motivated. They're motivated to take a slow piece of money from the creditor each and every single month.
It earns them more money as a credit repair company.
So they stretch the process out. They'll stretch out that process as long as they can.
So what about this? I mean, the recession is created this huge uptick in bankruptcies. That's what many perceive as the big one.
Sure.
So can bankruptcies actually be removed from reporting, or the impact of bankruptcy?
Sure, it could be removed off a credit report. Now, it might not be able to be removed off the public record itself from the county itself. So it exists. It's not going to be removed from there. The credit, they're held to the same standards.
So when a bankruptcy is removed off of the credit report, there is the impact of credit score rising from that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me ask you a question about this then. Identity theft. There's another big topic. People losing their credit identity, and it's being abused. There was this one story that I read in the stupid credit thief category. A guy that stole somebody's credit card, used it to buy a Super Bowl ticket, and then sat in the seat. Yeah, there you go. And so, sure enough, the authorities caught up to him and arrested him mid-game.
Wow.
Yeah, dumb. How much was bail? Do you know?
It wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap.
And I only got to see half the game. Can you believe that?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, if you'd like to get more information on credit repair and see if Saving My Credit can help you, text the word credit to 313131. That's text the word credit to 313131, and John Allen from Saving My Credit and his team will be more than happy to help you.
So is credit theft, is that a big issue? Are a lot of your clients saying I'm a victim of credit theft and
Absolutely.
I now need to
It's crazy. It's amazing. It is an absolutely epidemic. A lot of people aren't aware of what's happening. There's so many tricks to these tricksters out there doing stuff. So you got to be really careful nowadays.
Another category that I saw in terms of credit scoring, and this may be back in the fact or fiction, but so many employers run your credit.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
are they using credit scores as a determining factor on employment?
They're looking at the whole case. They're looking at your whole credit report scores. They're looking at whether or not you were making your mortgage payments, whether you're late on your car payment right now.
And they do that as a character assessment?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, I know that there's been some legislation that's pushed through on just this, on employers not being able to discriminate. And ironically, the credit scores, isn't it true that minorities and women statistically carry lower credit scores? Is that fact or fiction?
That's a fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just was looking at several of these news pieces, and a lot of the senators and congressmen were making that claim that we had discrimination going on by gender, by race, or by minority, and that having an impact on credit scores and adversely then impacting someone's ability to be employed.
It might be happening in the employment area. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone out there. I don't know what they're looking at. Everybody has their own way of doing business. However, what I can say is that young people to old people to, it doesn't matter. Credit is pretty non-racial. It is what it is. If you're doing great and you know how to work the system, you'll have great scores. If you don't and you're lost in the system, you probably will not have great scores or have a harder time getting credit, higher credit scores.
Well, you could just pay your bills on time, I guess, and not rack up your credit
Sure,
cards.
in
You'll be okay.
in the perfect world.
But it does happen. There's too many cases where a divorce happens, and next thing you know, things credit scores drop. Or in recent years, foreclosures, short sales, good people, just their house is underwater by $300,000.
There's some great people out there having some hard times sometimes in recent times.
And one of the things I've noticed, too, a lot of times, once somebody's credit score starts dropping, they just kind of let it go. They don't care anymore. They've
fallen off the shelf.
Yeah, they hide. They kind of try and just forget about it. And don't do that. Don't forget about it. Do something about it. It's not that hard. Maybe you can't do it yourself, but a professional company could.
Absolutely.
Well, in the drive up, we talked about that in terms of if you have good credit, there still should be some credit management to your just business practice so that you're either maintaining or even increasing those scores higher.
I agree. So if you would like more information on how to repair your credit, contact John Allen. You can text the word credit at 313-313. That's 31-31-31. Text the word credit to 31-31-31. This is the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335. We'll be back in just a moment with Ed Kaminsky and his daughter Tina from Shorewood Realtors. We'll be right back.
We've reviewed your application for credit at this time, and we're unable to approve you. The dreaded credit denial. You had strong credit, but life got in the way and companies are turning you down. The Dino and Nelson Show has a solution with Saving My Credit. Saving My Credit offers highly skilled specialists and a research methodology that is consistently applied to improve your financial situation. Nagging collection accounts, late pays, tax liens, bankruptcies, charge-offs are some of the many examples of negative reporting that leads to credit denial. Saving My Credit applies rigorous energy, experience, and resourcefulness to raising your credit score. How about this instead? Your credit is approved. It sounds so much better. Contact Saving My Credit at 714-699-4680 or savingmycredit.com. That's 714-699-4680. 714-699-4680 or online at savingmycredit.com.
What do you do when your bank simply says no to your real estate purchase? Polaris Equity Group provides an answer. Yes. Our flexible purchase and bridge loan programs are the direct result of our involvement in more than 3,000 transactions of varying size and complexity. Since 1991, Polaris has completed over $500 million in real estate investment transactions using both debt and equity solutions. When the bank says no, call Polaris Equity Group to hear yes. 949-727-4333. That's 949-727-4333. Logical decisions to execute a timely close. 949-727-4333. Or find us online at polarisequitygroup.com.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and I want to talk to you about our expertise outside the studio. Combined, Dino and I bring 45 years of mortgage experience to First Centennial Mortgage. We've successfully advised our clients through the most challenging economic and mortgage times. The recession of the late 80s, the housing crisis of the early 90s, the equity lending exuberance of the early 2000s, and now the mortgage meltdown and loss of home values since 2008. Bottom line, professional and experienced loan advisors to help you protect your home and real estate investments. This week has brought new attention to high balance loans, jumbo fixed rates up to $2 million with 30-year rates below 4 1/4, 15-year rates below 3 3/4, and if you can believe it, 5-year fixed rates in the high 2s. Let's face it, fixed interest rates in the high 2s for loan amounts up to $2 million. Call Dino and Nelson, expert loan advisors, direct at 888-814-3335. Ask about their jumbo fixed rates in the high 2s up to $2 million. That's Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335, 888-814-3335, or the DinoandNelsonShow.com.
All rates referred can change without notice. First Centennial Mortgage licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 132763.
The Dino and Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Dino and Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
In a chaotic real estate market, you want peace of mind when it comes to the home you're purchasing. Roadrunner Exterminating, a family-owned and operated company providing structural repairs, local treatments, and fumigation. Roadrunner Exterminating is a licensed, bonded, and insured expert in termite, pest control, and general contracting. For fast and efficient service, plus the peace of mind of knowing the condition of your new home, call Roadrunner Exterminating at 866-398-BUGS. That's 866-398-BUGS. Or on the web at roadrunnerexterminating.com. As always, mention the Dino and Nelson Show and get a free home inspection. 866-398-BUGS or roadrunnerexterminating.com. General Contractor License 922404. Nominal fee for escrow inspections.
Welcome back to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk, AM 1150, every Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m. We can be reached at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335.
So Ed Kaminsky and his daughter Tina from Shorewood Realtors and It Sold Inc. Really some amazing stats here. This segment is brought to you by First Centennial Mortgage. You're out of Manhattan Beach. In the country, you rank in the top 100 performing agents over the course of your career. Fantastic recognition there. And then also, and I find this just remarkable, annual sales volume in excess of $80 million. You do a ton of business.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
So, out of curiosity, 80 million, how many transactions is that?
We usually do about 120 transactions a year.
Wow. And you do a lot of high-end stuff, right?
We do. Actually, our volume is going to increase this year pretty dramatically, probably by 50% this year.
Unbelievable. Now, did you bring on more agents, or have you started something new, a new marketing program?
You know what? Our team is really, really coming together right now. My daughter Tina's been with us, 2 or 3 years now, and we've moved more into the high-end market. So our average price is probably double this year what it was last year.
Wow.
And that's really helping out a lot.
What are you seeing as an average price in Manhattan Beach, the general South Bay area?
Well, we'll start with Manhattan Beach first. The median price is probably close to $1.5 million.
Yeah.
The South Bay area is dramatically different because it encompasses areas that have prices as low as $150,000 all the way up to $15 million and everywhere in between.
Is San Pedro and
San Pedro, Gardena, Hawthorne, all the areas.
Yeah, so that's going to bring down those averages. But Manhattan Beach is up in the $1.5 million range.
1.5, 1.6.
Yeah.
Now, in the limo on the way up here, you talked about in the last 90 days alone, you've seen a huge appreciation.
We have. I mean, the market has made a major shift. I talk about, I looked at the numbers back in March. In March of 2011, I looked at one section in Manhattan Beach, specifically the tree section, we call it. There were 52 homes for sale, which is considered a lot of homes for sale in one little small section. March of this year, there were 13 for sale and 12 sold.
And a large number of those, we also talked about this in the drive up. A lot of those home buyers now are cash buyers. Is that correct?
You know what? There are a lot of cash buyers out there. We're seeing cash buyers, 50% down buyers. The buyers coming into the market, I don't know where they were 5 years ago, but they're very conservative when it comes to spending money. But they're all jumping in the market right now. The inventory has really disappeared all across the board. I mean, we're seeing it all across the country. Inventory levels are way down. Multiple offers are up. We're seeing full price offers, over asking price offers. And like you mentioned, I've seen not all cases, I'm not going to say it's across the board, but certain properties have increased probably 15 to 20% in value this year.
And see, we haven't heard conversations of appreciating values in years, literally. And the same with the sales activity. I picked up another article that referenced that in every region of the country, we're seeing an uptick in resale activity. So it's not just an isolated Manhattan Beach pocket. We're seeing business activity or sales activity across the country increase.
Well, we are. And you know, when we speak to like yourselves who are selling the money at such cheap rates, this probably is the cheapest you could buy real estate in the last 4 or 5 decades based on payments. You look at where price levels have dropped from the peaks of 2005, 6, and 7, almost 35% across the board in the country, 50, 60, 70% in some markets like Las Vegas and Florida. You have interest rates at all-time lows. So you got property prices down, interest rates down. It is cheaper to buy based on all kinds of factors right now than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
You know, one thing, though, that I found interesting, because we were talking about it on the way up, is with interest rates being so low, money being so cheap, it's shocking to me that so many people are cash buyers. Are they foreigners or are they Americans?
It's a great question. You know, with rates so low, it doesn't make sense where these cash buyers are coming from. But, you know, obviously they made some smart decisions back 5, 6, 7 years ago, whether they sold a business, their businesses are doing well, and they saved their money, and they were smart. So they're getting into the market right now. They're buying real estate because they feel that it might be safer to put money in real estate than sitting in the stock market or in a bank account.
I think it's a great investment. The one thing history has always told us about real estate is that if you hang on to it, it will go back up.
It's always gone up on a long-term basis.
So I have a question for you, Tina. You're in business with your dad. He's a wily veteran at this for now 25 years, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
You've been into the business now 2-3 years. Your dad has a lot of different business platforms. Where do you focus your attention?
I definitely focus my attention on the local business and the athlete relocation business, Sports Star Relocation.
Sports Star Relocation. Now, this is another segment of your business platform. Tell us a little bit about that.
We actually created a network throughout the country where there are major teams that play in those cities. So we have other realtors that are part of the network, and we help players get traded. So one guy gets traded from LA to Chicago, or calling our realtor in Chicago to make sure that he provides a good service to help him get there, get his cars there, his kids there, good schools, everything.
So just like our show, in terms of vetting out who the professionals are, you're doing the same thing with across the country with athletes being relocating to one part of the country or one franchise to the next, and then you have a safe gateway.
Exactly. So what ends up happening is a player gets traded, they get drafted, they become a free agent, they're moving. And so we provide a full level from A to Z concierge level service for these players. We help them find a home, sell their existing home, move their cars, pack their stuff, and
even help their pets.
And help their pets.
Just first-class service all the way.
And their entire entourage that comes with them in some cases.
You know, it's an interesting niche because, you know, athletes, in so many cases, you mentioned the draft athletes, and I'm a professional tennis coach, and you look at the athlete that goes into stardom, into the professional ranks, and they go from part of the rank and file, maybe a college student, into signing a major contract, and now they're in this Mega Million category. They need coaching.
They do need coaching. I mean, the players they're starting out at a very young age. In some cases today, you'll see them at 18, 19 years old, and they're handed a contract for $5 or $10 or $15 million. You know what? We want to be a guide to them, make sure that they're not buying in a marketplace where they could get traded a year from now and lose some money. So, we're just there to help guide them along that process.
It's funny. I did a loan a few years back for a baseball player, and a young guy making a ton of money. And when I was trying to do his loan, I said, "How can you not have more money?" I know it's not really my place to say that, but I got to show reserves. I go, "How can you?" And he actually gave me a letter from the FBI that his money was embezzled from him by his manager.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are targets, and they have to be careful who they're handing their checks off to,
who they're trusting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So your network obviously can establish that they're going into a safe landing with whichever city that they're being relocated to, and they don't have perhaps the same exposure for somebody to get a hold of their assets and squander them.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's on our group, it goes through a really, really tight screening process, and we look at their history, their current business, their past business, the type of clientele they're working with. And if they meet that screening process, then we allow them to work with our clients.
So you have the Manhattan Beach and the greater South Bay area where you're a mega producer there. You have the sports relocation organization. You also have an auction platform, which is something that's been around but being reintroduced into the real estate market. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, we established an auction company, Premier Estates Auction Company, and we focus on the luxury market for properties throughout the entire country. And these are for sellers that want their property sold. And the auction process is all about ultimately bringing the market to their front doorstep and getting buyers to bid against each other. And ultimately, when that final bid is called, we're achieving market value. That's the auction process. The traditional process, which I also still do, it's about identifying a price that the seller wants, putting it out there, and seeing if the market agrees with that.
It's almost a proactive versus reactive mindset in terms of how you're marketing.
Exactly. It reverses everything that we know to be true in real estate.
And in the auctioneer, it's not the auctioneer kind of environment. It's all electronic. It's using all of today's technologies. It's not the traditional somebody standing behind the podium and calling out bidders, is it?
Actually, we do live bidding.
Is that right?
We do. We just had a sale in Ocean City, New Jersey, where this property was going to be sold to the highest bidder, regardless of price. And so it's what we call an absolute auction.
Absolute sale.
So we market it locally, statewide, and nationally for a period of 6 weeks, and it's going to be sold to the highest bidder. We had about 2,000 people through that property. We had 18 registered bidders show up, ready to spend $4 million, and we sold it at auction with a guy standing behind a podium calling the sale.
How about that?
Yeah. In case you just jumped into your car, you're listening to Ed Kaminsky and Tina Kaminsky from Shorewood Realtors, and this is the Dino Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150 every Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m. We can be reached at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335.
So with the market focus right now, obviously it's a moving target. It's changing. One of the things that you talked about was now this evidence of appreciation in the marketplace. Can you keep up with it? I mean, you not only have the 3 business platforms, and you have multiple bids that are coming on properties now. So what's the advice and counsel that you're giving home buyers that are trying to compete in now a changing marketplace?
You know, a lot of buyers out there today are finding properties they love. They go to submit an offer, and they find out there's more than one buyer trying to buy the same house. So you have to decide, how can you win when submitting your offer? And obviously, if you raise the price up and outbid everybody is one way, but not the ideal way. So there's ways to adjust your offer, and you have to speak to your real estate agent about this, of how to either reduce the amount of contingencies you have in your contract, identify what the seller is looking for. Maybe it's timing. Maybe making sure you're definitely pre-qualified with your lender when you submit that offer and show proof of pre-qualification. These factors are all critical in getting your offers accepted.
But by the way, this is why I think it's so important. In the old days, you used to have all these blue-haired, as we call them, realtors. They were just old and did all sorts of nothing in the business. Then you have these business people who are realtors, and in your case, you're a true businessman. You're a negotiator. You know what you're doing. So when you have a buyer, the reason why your buyer is more likely to get accepted than somebody else's, because you read the entire situation, you talk with the listing agent, you understand what it's going to take to get the deal to go through.
I should have you in my back pocket when I walk around. That's
exactly
no, it's
the
true.
consummate professional.
I hate dealing with realtors that aren't true professionals, that aren't business people. They think they can get a real estate license and just go out and sell homes, and you can find a home to sell somebody, but you got to be able to negotiate the whole deal all the way through.
And especially in this environment with multiple offers on properties.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us, Ed and Tina from Shorewood Realtors. If you'd like more information on them, you can come to our website at thedinoandnelsonshow.com, or you can call us at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335. This is the Dino and Nelson Show. We'll see you next week.